College enrollment has been declining over the past decade, and many institutions are struggling financially. More than 440 of the nation's 1,700 private, nonprofit, four-year colleges are at risk of closing or merging, and that's within the next 10 years. That is according to new projections. So, what does all this mean for students and those who care about students? CBS News contributor and Harvard economics professor Roland Fryer joins us. You believe this is a necessary and possibly overdue market correction. That sounds like a good thing, is it?
I think it is a good thing for America.
Why?
Well, because look, if you're investing in something and there's no real return on that investment, it's time to get out. And that's what's happening here. These are a lot of colleges that statistically produce zero value.
So they are boutique institutions that offer a couple of things that some small subset of students and their parents find attractive, but are not really part of the relevancy of higher education? Well,
I wouldn't go there. They don't necessarily need to be boutique institutions. They're just not, the education is not being rewarded in the labor market. And so if you're paying $40,000 or $50,000 a year into something, you come out of college with $200,000 worth of debt, and your income doesn't go up any more than if you had not gone to those schools, that's not a good investment. So the fact that the market is finally starting to work and students and families are voting with their feet, that is good news.
Because this is kind of a parable about the dangers of tuition inflation and the cost of a higher education up against what you gain on the other side.
That's exactly right.
Is that the only way to measure, though, the value of a college education?
I knew you were going to ask that.
I am so predictable, Gayle. I am 1,000% predictable.
You're picking on economists this morning. No, it's not. Oh, look, we focus on it because it's an easy measure. But look, civic engagement, character, there are all sorts of ways to evaluate.
Socialization.
Socialization's another one. Thank you. But here's the truth. The colleges that are in danger of closing also don't have a comparative advantage of producing those things either. There have been surveys and lots of data that shows, yes, those outcomes are important, but those outcomes are also produced at colleges that generate higher labor market returns as well.
So ultimately, what do you think is the value of an education at an elite university or one of the Ivies? What do you think?
Well, look, the statistics are pretty clear. On average, nothing.
Nothing?
However,
and you're at Harvard. Careful, Professor. You're at Harvard.
Well, I never paid tuition to them. It's a different relationship. But what's interesting about the Ivy Plus schools, and what I mean by Ivy Plus, I mean Harvard, Princeton, Duke, Stanford, is that I think of it as a lottery ticket. So at Harvard, for example, you have a 60% higher chance of being in the top 1%. And a lot of people are willing to invest some significant resources for that kind of lottery ticket.
Yeah, this is a very layered conversation, but these young high schoolers and their parents are sitting in this gray area now, understanding that certain schools are like lottery tickets, and then other opportunities outside of going to school, just starting your own business right away is very intriguing. So what should these parents and also these students be asking these high school counselors?
It's a great question. They should be trying to understand what is the success of the graduates who come out of these schools, and what are the graduation rates. So we ran an experiment in Houston, and we went down and we tried
Less than 30 seconds.
Help people understand what's the true value in terms of return on investment and cost, and try to get people to make more informed decisions.
That's spot on. Roland Fryer, you're always so good. I wish we had more time.
And don't sleep on vocational education either, right?
Yeah, you're right about that.